We're feeling generous, so we've come up with a few suggestions of our own to help the Taiwanese company get started, as well as highlighting the few rumors we're already hearing about the HTC One M10. 1. Better battery life. Sadly, the M9's battery is a step down from the HTC One M8's, though it's not clear why, as the power pack is actually bigger, the screen is the same, and while the processor is faster, it's meant to be efficient. Whatever the reason though, it just doesn't cut it, so it's absolutely essential that this is improved for the HTC One M10. We want to comfortably get at least 2 days of life from our phones, and in this day and age that shouldn't be unreasonable. While we're on, Quick Charge 2.0 is nice, but it would be even nicer if next year HTC put a quick charge enabled charger in the box. 2. A superior camera. For all its attempts, HTC failed to entirely convince people that ultrapixels are the way forward in smartphone photography, finally admitting defeat and ditching them from the rear camera in the One M9. But that may have been a mistake, especially as they were replaced with an unexceptional 20MP Sony lens. A better option might have been a middle ground, upping the megapixel count from 4 to 8, but continuing to use larger ultrapixels. That way it could have stayed speedy and adept in low light, while packing in more detail than the M8's camera. Hopefully HTC will consider that for the HTC One M10, but it needs to do something, because the M9's snapper trails way behind the Samsung Galaxy S6s and the LG G4s. 3. A new design. This one might be controversial, as the One M9 is one of the best looking phones around. The problem is we can't really see where HTC can go next with it. The company has spent the last few years perfecting its design, and with the M9 it's arguably achieved that. So next year we'll either get basically the same thing again, which would be safe but boring, or we'll get something new and different. We have faith that HTC didn't just get lucky with the HTC One and that it can impress us all over again with a new design, so we hope that in the HTC One M10 we'll see one. With the introduction of the One A9, HTC has already teased us with a new design direction, even if it is suspiciously iPhone-like, and we're hoping to see a fusion between the A9 and M9 on the HTC One M10. 4. A fingerprint scanner. Fingerprint scanners are becoming increasingly common on our smartphones. Samsung has a top-notch digit reader on its Galaxy S6 line of handsets, as does Apple on the more recent iPhones. Sony's side-mounted offering falls nicely on your thumb, and Huawei and Google have bolted them to the rear of the Mate S, Mate 8, Nexus 5X and Nexus 6P. With Android Marshmallow now offering built-in support for fingerprint scanners too, there's even more reason for the One M10 to sport the technology. HTC is clearly interested in the technology, putting scanners on variants like the HTC One M9 Plus and the HTC One Max, but we want to see one on the HTC One M10. Only if it's good though. A half-baked fingerprint scanner is worse than no fingerprint scanner. 5. A 1080p screen. The HTC One M9 has a 1080 by 1920 screen. As does the HTC One M8, as does the original HTC One. So you might think it's due an upgrade, especially as the Samsung Galaxy S6 and LG G4 both have QHD displays. But at 5.0 inches, which by the way is an ideal size in our humble opinion, the benefits of a QHD screen are negligible while the hit on battery life could be substantial. If HTC can somehow make a QHD screen that's just as light on the battery as a 1080p one, then go for it, but if not, we hope the company sticks with 1080p in the M10, rather than bowing to pressure from the competition. 6. Waterproofing. If HTC continues to go heavy on the metal, then making the One M10 waterproof might be a challenge, but we'd love to see it happen, along with dust proofing. It's a handy feature to have, not so much because you're likely to actually want to take the phone swimming, but just for the peace of mind it gives you. It could also help HTC steal some Samsung fans, given that the Galaxy S6 stitched both water resistance and a microSD card slot. The One M9 already supports microSD cards, So keep that and add water resistance to the M10 and it's got some serious selling points. 7. Better boom sound. The One M9 already has some of the best speakers around, but there's always room for improvement. The dual front-facing boom sound speakers are one of the standout features of HTC's phones, and to keep standing out they need to keep getting better. So we hope the HTC One M10 delivers even louder, richer sound through its built-in cans than the M9 does. 8. More revolution than evolution. The HTC One M9 didn't feel like a huge improvement over the HTC One M8. It had a refined design, upgraded hardware and a new camera, sure, but it largely looked and felt like the same phone and was distinctly lacking in killer new features. HTC can't afford to do that again with the HTC One M10. We want new, we want different, and we want to be excited, just like we were when the original HTC One was unveiled. 9. A redesigned power button. If HTC doesn't redesign the whole phone, we hope it will at least redesign the power button on the HTC One M10. On the M9 it's on the right edge next to the volume buttons, which makes it easy to reach, but it's also roughly the same size and shape as the volume buttons, making it easy to hit the wrong thing if you're not looking. HTC knows it's a problem too, as it's ensured the power, lock and volume keys on the One A9 feel very different under finger. It's a small issue, but one which you'll be dealing with a lot, so we hope the fix makes it to HTC One M10 as well. 10. More storage. The HTC One M9 comes in one size and one size only, 32GB. If you're going to launch your phone in just one storage size, that's probably the one to choose, as it's a balance between the prohibitively small 16GB and the likely expensive 64GB, but it would be nice to have the option for more built-in storage. There is a microSD card slot, but storing things on memory cards can negatively impact performance, so just having more storage built in might be a preferable option.